Hey, this is Chris, keeping it real. CNL Construction. How you doing this morning? So last Friday I was under the gun. I had a job up by Kerr Lake, which is where I love to be. There's a house on the lake, which is where I love to be. If I had several $100,000 extra, I would find a place to live up on the lake, and that's where I would live. But hey, the future is always ahead of us, isn't it? So I was doing some work. There was a concrete porch, and I'll probably do a video and post that later. But then again, I may forget, so whatever. So it's like it's an 8 by 25 porch, and so I put 2 coats of enamel down on that. I would have used epoxy, but the owner wanted a particular color, and from my understanding, you can get tinted epoxy, but I couldn't get it in time. Amazon's got it on their website, and I wasn't familiar with any of the sellers, and so it's just easier to get enamel. Enamel's tough, as long as you don't drag metal objects across it, you're fine. If you just walk across it, or if you have some, like outdoor wicker furniture like they do, you'll be fine, as long as you're not just scooting back and forth all over it all the time. The thing about enamel is you have to wait 2 weeks before you really start doing anything on it, because that's how long it takes for all those molecules to get cross-linked and form that really durable hard surface that the enamel is known for. So they had that porch. They had a back deck. It was like a 2-level deck. It wasn't very big. It was probably about 300 square feet altogether, and so but it had pickets, of course, and I was going to spray it, and every day I was there, it just seemed like the wind was blowing right at the house. I mean, it was a pretty steady wind, and so I didn't want a chance getting a bunch of overspray all over the siding, all over. You can easily make a bigger mess than you. That takes more time to clean up than any time you might have saved. And so I did finally figure out a way to do the pickets with a roller. One of those small 4-inch rollers. It's one of those with the. It's not the foam kind, and it's not the woven kind. It's got like little fibers. I don't remember the name brand. Wiz, I think, is the name brand. Anyway, it worked well to do the pickets themselves. And then I followed up with the brush on the railing. The rail at the top of the railing was a different color, so it was a 2-color scheme. The deck and the railing were what's called redwood, and it looked a little light to me at first, but as it dried, I realized it was going to be a good color. It's not dark, but they had this like gold colored stain. It really did not look very good, and of course it was monochromatic. Everything was the gold. But when I put that red stain down on the deck and then put the white, I used a good outdoor acrylic latex exterior paint. I don't worry about what I use if it's not on a traffic area. If nobody's going to be walking on, if it's a picket, if it's part of the railing system, it's not going to get rubbed up against. So we're not worried about abrasion of any sort. Looks really nice, really nice contrast. It has lattice for like the underpinning, So I brushed the deck, and I brushed and rolled the pickets, and then I sprayed the lattice underpinning. I love my sprayer. I mean, it's not the greatest tool in the world, but it works. And as long as you recognize its limitations, it does really well. And so there was about 50 or 60 feet of lattice, and it didn't take me 15 minutes. It really did not. It was totally amazing. And then he had a shed that had like 8 posts and then some framing, and he had a new roof put on the top, and then it has a sink and a countertop and a couple cabinets, and it's seen better days. When we were looking at it when I first went over there, I just peeled off a big chunk of paint. I said, "You realize there's only so much I'm going to do with this?" He said, "Yeah, I understand. Just do what you can." And so. A lot of the paint did come, but it came off easily. But I knew I didn't really need to be picky about it because it was in bad shape. But I sprayed that too. Didn't take any time at all. As far as the the cabinets in went. I did have to paint the rafters, and that was kind of a pain, but it went pretty quick. 2x6 rafters, 2 feet on center, wasn't bad at all. So I get there Friday, and I've got quite a laundry list of things to finish up. It rained on Monday, and then I had to go do other things, half days the next 3 days, and so I wanted to finish on Friday. He said he had family coming in, and I wasn't really concerned about that, but I was concerned about getting paid. It's the number one motivator for an independent contractor. And so I was able to get almost all the way done, but I got to the post on the shed, and I'd been saving that for last because I figured it'd be fairly easy. But when I went to Lowe's that morning on the way over there, they didn't have that color in a pre-mixed, because I thought, well, a quart's going to be enough, and a quart, it did turn out to be enough. But it was black, and I thought, I don't know, maybe it's not really, really black, because it was a really, really dark brown stain on those posts. I thought, well, yeah. But I got started, and I thought, I ought to ask him about this. Unfortunately, he happened to walk down with a nice cold drink of water for me. Really nice guy, really, totally honest, nice guy. And he said, that's kind of dark. I said, darn. Well, I could go into town. I could go to Clarksville and see if they can mix me up something real quick. But unfortunately, I was really tight for time because I was supposed to be in South Hill at 4:30 to meet a person at Arby's, where I'm going to be fixing some walls that have vinyl on them. And it was like 2 o'clock, and I thought, if I have to go all the way into Clark, because Kerr Lake's a pretty big place, and you can't get there from here. You always have to go around the lake somehow or another. And I said, hold on a second, I've got the rest of this redwood stain. Maybe if I mix those two things together, it'll work. And so I poured the can of black stain into what was left of a can of red stain and mixed it up, and lo and behold, it was such a perfect color match. I don't know that a computer could have done better. It was total luck. I looked it up on Google. How do you make dark brown paint out of black paint? And it said, well, add some red. It actually said add some red, green, and red, blue, and something else. But all I had was the red. But it wasn't really a red. It was a deeper red. It wasn't cherry red. Let's put it that way. And so I mixed it. I couldn't believe it. I mixed it up. I took my brush. Well, I had to wash out my brush first because it was in the black. And put it on the post that he was standing there looking at. And we both looked at it. I was like, I can't even tell where I just painted. I really could not tell. And so he was happy. I was ecstatic. Until I realized, as I was painting about the fourth post, I said, oh no, I have to myself, I said, I have to touch up some deck boards that have white paint on them from where I painted the pickets, and now I don't have any red stain left, because that was the last of what I had. I had a fair amount of stain left. It was like a fifth of a gallon, but it was more than enough to finish up. If I just thought just a second, I could have poured out, 5 or 6 ounces of it, probably still would have been fine. And so I'm getting everything finished up, and I have to finish off the top of 2 posts that go up to a little stairway onto the patio. And I said, I kind of shot myself in the foot. I used up all the stain making the dark brown paint. And he said, well, that's okay. I'll go ahead and get you a check anyway, because I had done everything else. And so I always appreciate that. I wouldn't have blamed me if he said, well, I tell you what, when you come back and finish, I'll give you a check. So, that's the way that goes. I would. Well, fortunately, I think the good thing was, we were both about the same age. We both have families with children, with grandchildren, and so, and the rest of it looks great. The stuff that I have to touch up, it's like around 3 posts where I drip some white paint. It's almost nothing. And so he was very pleased with the work, and I was very pleased that I got paid, and I'll just have to run by there tomorrow The only bad thing is I got to spend more money on some stain. I've already gotten paid, so but I wasn't going to charge him extra because, not having the right stain for the post wasn't his fault. It was my fault. So, but anyway, that was my adventure on Friday. I did manage to get finished right at 3:30, which gave me 10 minutes to spare to get to the Arby's. I hate to be late anywhere. I really do. I think being on time is a really great way to start a business relationship. If you care enough to get to do the work, and if you want to make people think you're competent, just be on time. And so, in fact, I was about 5 minutes early, and the representative was about 5 minutes early. And as I was parking the truck, she texted me and said, "Are you here?" I said, "Sure am. See you in just a second." So, had a really brief meeting about what she wanted, and so Friday was a really good day. Headed home, got home an hour earlier than I really thought I was going to get home. That was nice. Was able to relax with my dog, and sat around all weekend. I did some things, but not much, because that took a lot out of me. It was only 85, but the humidity was like, the only bad thing about working at the lake, it is about 100% humidity all the time, and it just, the sweat just pours off you. But it pours off me, I don't know. I'm just a sweater. All right, you got any questions or comments? Leave them in the section below. Like and subscribe. We appreciate when you do. If you have any work that needs to be done and you are in the Clarksville, Oxford area, Kerr Lake, Southern Virginia, please give me a call, 919-482-6763. It's 919-482-6763. See if I can help you out, okay? Thanks. Bye.